So if your idea of your golden years is walking your poodle around the block, good luck to you. But if you think you're going to travel the world and go see your grandkids and live a wonderful life of leisure, you better take a very good look at what we've got to show you tonight. Because you've got to control your own destiny. You've got to control your own income. You've got to control your own retirement security. And that's one of the biggest benefits of this business. So it's a 2 to 4 year plan. Takes 7 to 10 hours a week. It doesn't take a lot of money. So what does it take? It takes the dream. Because if you don't have the dream, you'll never find the 7 to 10 hours a week. I can guarantee you that. You're busy. We're all busy. You're working, you're picking up the dry cleaning, you're making dinner, you're taking the kids to football practice, you're paying the bills, you got to sleep, you got to eat, all this. You're using 24 hours of every day already. So what's got to give? You've got to find a dream, something that will take you to this frame of mind where you will change the way you live, you will change the daily actions you take, and you will change your mindset for a 2 to 4 year period. So that alarm clock will go off at 6:30 in the morning. You'll get up, you'll have your breakfast, you go to work, you'll work 8 or 9 hours at your job, you'll get out of the job, you'll run somewhere, grab a bite to eat, and go somewhere and work for another 3 hours in the evening. When you could be home watching TV, when you could be with your kids, when you could be with your family, when you could be watching a football game or something else. But you will make a sacrifice. You will say, I will find the 7 to 10 hours a week for 2 to 4 years to build my freedom, to build my security, to build my independence. And don't tell me, ladies, well, I can't do that because of my kids. Let me tell you what I say to that. Don't use your kids as an excuse not to do the business. Use your kids as the reason to do the business. So you can raise your own kids instead of paying someone else to raise them for you. You know, I mean, people drop their kids off at a daycare center at 7:30 in the morning and pick them up at 5 o'clock at night. Those poor kids couldn't pick their mother out of a police lineup. Right? Don't use your religion as an excuse. Let me tell you, I missed a lot of church for a couple of years while I built my business. I was doing meetings on Wednesday nights instead of going to church on Wednesday night. Some Sundays I was in a different city working with a long-distance line instead of being at church. But you know what happened? I tithe 10% of every penny I make to my church. And I make a lot of pennies these days. Okay, some Sundays, we seat 800 in my church. You know, some Sundays, they put that basket around and it starts here and it goes all the way down the aisles, all that just like that. And you know, sometimes the check that I put in there equals the checks of 799 other people all added together. That's what missing a few days of church did for me. Gave me time to serve on the board of the church, 2 years as the president, a couple years more as the Blue Ribbon Committee. I've been able to contribute to the church. I've been able to teach a class on prosperity on that. See, I couldn't do that when I was broke. Do you really get that? You can't do these kind of things when you're broke. You can't help your kids when you're broke. When you're so busy trying to pay the bills, you're so busy trying to cover the mortgage, you're so busy trying to pay the rent, you can't live life. And that's not the way life is meant to be lived. I came here because I want you to have an amazing life like I have. And believe me, I have an amazing life. I live in my dream home. I live on the ocean, okay? I go to bed every night, I hear those waves crashing on the shore. I wake up, I go down, and I got a beautiful car to get into. I have beautiful people in my life. I have wonderful health. Everything is, I make more money every year than I did the year before. I am living a dream that is just wonderful. But I made some sacrifices along the way. And that's what I'm saying to you. Make some sacrifices. Take 2 to 4 years. Make a commitment. When you walk out of here tonight, make that commitment. Not to your spouse, not to your sponsor, not to me, not to yourself. Make a commitment to yourself that you're worthy, that you're worth it, that you will think back. And that's what I want you to really do, is say, okay, what were your dreams when you were 15? What is the house you would live in if money is no object? Do you have a picture of it somewhere that you carry around to fuel you? What is the dream car you want to be driving? Is it a red Lamborghini Diablo, Ferrari Testarossa, Bentley, Viper, You know, what is it? Do you have a picture of it in your wallet? You got a picture of it in your planner? You have a dream board with it up somewhere? You got it up on the mirror in the bathroom? You got it up on the refrigerator in the kitchen? You know, how much time you want to spend with the loved ones in your life? How much money you want to give to charity? You know, I had lunch. Funny, I just got invited to be on the board of directors for the Florida Philharmonic. I'm so honored they asked that, and I'm proud to be a supporter of them. I'm so proud to be a supporter of the opera and the Young Artist Program and all kind of charities. Fascinating thing, though. I had lunch with the guy who invited me to be on the board. He gave $1 million to the Philharmonic this year. $1 million so they can play beautiful music. That's money. That's money with a capital M. That's living a life of dreams. That's living a life of wonder, of joy, of adventure and growth. And that's what I want for you. But you got to know what that is. So please, those 5 things, what would they be? And maybe you're going to give $1 million to your church, temple, or synagogue. Maybe it's you want to take a year off and study ballet. Maybe you want to take 6 months and go on a cruise around the world. Maybe you want to fly in all your family from all over the world and have a reunion. Maybe you want a house in Paris and a house in Hawaii and a house in San Diego and a house in Berlin. I don't know what it is for you, but you have to know what it is. Or nothing I'm going to talk about tonight is going to make any sense to you. You'd be better sitting home watching Survivor, Big Brother, Fear Factor, whatever one of those shows. You could sit watching any one of those shows instead of be here tonight. Because if you're here tonight, you got to know what your dream is. And we can show you. I will draw out on this board. I will draw out a way and show you how you can live those dreams. And I'll show you how to build some residual income, some retirement security, and you can just do the numbers yourself, okay? And you could say, all right, is there any of those 5 things that I would do, have, or become that I can get with what I see here on this board? The difference is, and here's the secret, okay? You wonder, okay, I know there's nothing for free. There's always a cost. Here's the thing. Here's the secret of everything I'm going to talk about tonight has to do with leverage. It's getting you out of the trap. And there's a big trap, okay? And this is the trap. It's people trading time for money. You work 40 hours, you get paid for 40 hours. So you work 40 hours and you get paid $400 a week. If you're sick half a day and you only work 35 hours, you get paid $350. If you need some extra money because there's something that you want to do, you put in some overtime, so you work 45 hours, so maybe you get $450. Well, you know what? That is trading time for money. Time for money. Hours for dollars. Hours for pounds. Hours for dollars. Hours for cougar ranch. Whatever the currency is. If you're trading time for currency, you can't get wealthy. It's a trap. You got to put some leverage to work somehow to get out of that. Because this is what keeps people broke. So in my case, when I lost my dream, and I started all over again, I said, well, I got a choice here. I can go and live like most people do and live that life of quiet desperation and just mind my own business and do the thing and be a worker drone in the collective like everybody else. Or I can go after my dreams again. So I began a study of prosperity. Because when you're $55,000 in debt, no house, no car, no credit cards, and you start selling the furniture, things look a little different. Anybody here ever sell your furniture for your business? Interesting scenario. Here's what I found. The end tables, not a problem. Coffee table, no big deal. Kitchen table, hey, you can always eat in the sofa. Lamps, no big deal. You got the light in the kitchen on the ceiling. But the sofa and the bed and the TV. How did I know you'd know that? The bed, the sofa, and the TV, they gotta be the last to go. Because see, I don't know if you got it here, but what we have in the States, we have infomercials on all night long. So once midnight hits, these infomercials start, and they're all about how to make money. So what do you do when you're $55,000 in debt and you're sleeping, with no furniture and whatever? You sit up all night and you watch infomercials. And then you sleep all day, and you're so depressed, and you get up and you read the one ads, and you think you don't have bus fare to go to the job interview, and you think how miserable your life is, and you eat macaroni and cheese 3 times a day, which is what I did for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I'd get up, sleep, mope around, eat my macaroni and cheese, and then midnight would start the infomercials. And I remember we had a Vietnamese guy named Tom Vu. I don't know if you ever saw that here, this infomercial. He had one of those courses on how to buy real estate, no money down. So one night, it's 3 a.m., I'm sitting on the sofa. Tom Vu comes on. He says, "You, sitting on the sofa! You, it's 3 a.m.! Now I know he's really worried because it's 3 a.m. I'm sitting on the sofa. He said, "You sitting on the sofa at 3 a.m. Your wife's asleep. Your baby's asleep. You are a loser. Nobody cares about you. You are a loser. If you don't buy my program, you deserve to be broke." And I'm like, oh, if only I could afford this program. But of course, I didn't have the $199 or whatever it was. So, and eventually, of course, the sofa had to go, the bed had to go, and then the TV had to go. And then something else had to go. And that was my mindset. My victim, loser, woe is me, oh, the circumstances are against me. That mindset had to go. And I had to say, okay, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I am sick of being broke. I am sick of being sick. I am sick of being stupid. I'm sick. The truth is I wasn't even broke, okay? Because I would have needed $55,000 to qualify for broke. Okay? I would have been happy to be broke at that point in my life. Okay? At that point, I would have been happy to have an alarm clock going off at 6:30 waking me up. Now, is that the dumbest invention you ever heard, though, an alarm clock? You're supposed to wake up when you finish sleeping. But, right, what do? We stuck in the thing. So now at this point, I would have been happy with an alarm clock. Okay, but I started a study of prosperity. And here's what I found. 2 secrets of prosperity. If you want to be wealthy, secret number 1, you have to be your own boss. You ain't going to get rich working for other people. If you've got to get a job as president of Disney Studios or, IBM calls you up and wants you to be the vice president of operations, maybe you're going to make a lot of money. All I know is those people weren't calling me, okay? And they may not be calling you, okay? So if those people ain't calling you, you want to get wealthy, you got to be your own boss. Because let me tell you a secret. I don't care how nice your boss is. I don't care how much your boss loves you and wants to help you. The truth is they have to buy you at wholesale and sell you at retail. Otherwise, they don't make money and they don't stay in business. So the only way they make money off you is to buy you at wholesale and sell you at retail. So if you want to make money, you got to be able to get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and know that you're talking to the boss. And issue number 2, and this is the most important thing, which we mentioned, you've got to employ the concept of leverage. And this is something, J. Paul Getty, who was one of the wealthiest people the world ever known, he understood this. And he was quoted oftentimes, this is probably his most famous quote, when he said, "I would rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of my own efforts." Because he understood the concept of leverage. And he became one of the wealthiest people the world has ever known. So tonight, I'm going to share with you how you can employ this same concept of leverage that the wealthiest people in the world do, and it'll allow you to get your share of that kind of wealth. And I'm happy to say, I'm one of the wealthiest people in the world. You know that? Now, you know what? I don't have Bill Gates' money. I don't have Larry Ellison's money. I couldn't spend $90 million on a boat down in the Kiwi race there next week. But you know what? If there's 6 billion people, whatever there is on this planet, I'm wealthier than 5,990,000, whatever, 99.8% of them. And I'm a dishwasher from a pancake house. But I understood leverage. Now, how do you put this leverage? It's a business called network marketing, sometimes called multi-level marketing. Sometimes we call it MLM for short. What is it? It's a business that allows you to leverage the efforts of other people who have a dream and are willing to trade that 7 to 10 hours a week to get a dream. So you're going to introduce them to the business. You're going to teach them a duplicatable system that they could follow and duplicate the same results with people that they're going to introduce to the business and create this system that everybody can follow, and everybody will get a nice chunk of the organization that is built. And because you direct your own organization, because you are your own boss, you get some residual income out of the efforts of the people that you introduce to the business. That's the leverage. It's no different than when Madonna makes a record and every time they play that CD, she gets a royalty of that. When Coppola does a movie and that movie plays, it gets a royalty of that. This is how the average person can get leverage. See, if you got money, leverage is not a problem. You can leverage your money. You can buy stocks, bonds, invest in companies, invest in real estate, all that kind of stuff. I couldn't do that. If you could buy a franchise. If I would have bought a restaurant franchise instead of opening my own restaurant, chances are I'd still be in the restaurant business. But you know what? I couldn't afford the franchise fee. I didn't have that kind of money. Ask someone about the stock market, they'll tell you, unless you got $25,000 you can afford to lose, don't even get in the stock market. Well, I didn't have $25,000 I could afford to lose. I didn't have $25 I could afford to lose. Forget about. So I didn't have the money to leverage. And if you got a couple $100,000, couple million you can leverage, hey, maybe you don't even need to be here tonight. But I'm speaking to the rest of you who don't have that kind of money. And the rest of you who used to have that kind of money till the stock market tanked, and now your retirement fund is 40% of what it was 2 years ago. Okay, let's talk about how you build your security. Well, so what is network marketing? It's just a new paradigm in distribution. Been around for over 50 years now. And it is, why I say it's a new paradigm in distribution is because it's changing the way we get products and services to the consumer. And with things that have happened recently, like the internet, overnight shipping, satellite, telephone, fax technology, all of this stuff is driving network marketing to be a bigger force today than it has ever been. So it's been growing consistently for more than 50 years. There are somewhere between 14 to 16 million people in the network marketing direct selling industry. And it will do somewhere between 70 and 80 billion dollars US this year. So this is a very credible business. And if you've been reading the financial papers the last few years, you've seen it mentioned in the Wall Street Journal, had front page cover stories on Success Magazine, Forbes Magazine. The mainstream press is really starting to pick up on this. Now, why is that happening? Is because it's the future. It's what has to be, because what has happened in the past doesn't work anymore. In other words, here's how it used to work in distribution. We'd have a manufacturer. They would make a product. They would sell it to a wholesaler who would buy it, resell it to a rack jobber, who would buy it, resell it to a retail chain.